Oh, whoever said fish keepers were nerds, I don't think so.
Wouldn't it be cool to have a wall of tanks? Like seriously, So I built a wall of tanks. I have no choice. You're gonna have to see things before I'm ready to show you. You're just gonna have to see it. God, it's so awesome. Okay, so watch this. Where did the 375 go? Back in May, I bought 10 180-gallon aquariums. They were originally meant for a specific design that I had planned for that public aquarium, which simply isn't happening. If you watched my last video that I filmed like, what, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. I haven't been making videos simply because I've been busy doing a lot of things that I didn't really want much feedback on. But now that the ball is set into motion and there's no turning back, I'll show you these things and you guys can let me know what you think. Now, a lot of people thought that I was really upset and really depressed over the public aquarium not happening, and to be honest with you, not really. That was more so for you, the community, the local aspect of things, and it was really truly exciting. However, I got to admit, I bought a lot of stuff for that I could still potentially use out here, and what that means is I can make this current aquarium gallery even better, like a lot. Okay. Before I show you everything, I'm just going to say that I'm just going to do like a lightning quick, show you what I've done, and then I plan to do another video where we can really dive in deep, and it will be a lot longer, and I'll explain everything and how I've upgraded a tremendous amount of things out here, how it's going to be night and day. But let me show you the initial plans. So when it comes to the 180-gallon tanks, obviously, this is the only wall I could put them on. These are all 120-gallon aquariums right now, and you guys know the archer fish are sitting here waiting for a 180-gallon tank. They want their Asian-themed aquarium. They want to show you guys their skills with hitting a target. Then we have the Lake Tanganyika, not going anywhere. The tank of piranha, all also waiting. Look at them all just hiding. Sorry for the glare, but the focus isn't really on the fish right now. It's technically going to be on something else. The Oscars, of course, getting their own tank, and then of course the saltwater tank. I was holding where. Okay, let me show you a plan. So when I originally launched the aquarium gallery, we had 10 120-gallon aquariums stacked up. CustomAquariums.com had sent them to me. We had 5 up top, 5 on below, and I found like the top tanks were just too close to the ceiling. I thought I was going to be able to make it work. It was too hard to get in there. I need at least, at least a foot of working space, Anyways, since then we've only had 5 120-gallon tanks, and it's literally been so annoying. I feel like I've wasted so much space here. I feel like I should have just built new racks for those 120s, but now these 180s are going to be here. So what I'm going to do there is awesome. I'm going to build a double rack like how I usually stack my tanks, one above the other. We're only putting 3 up here and 3 down there, and there's going to be about a foot or 16 inches of space in between each one. What a waste. That's like 2-3 feet of wasted space, isn't it? No, I want to do something different. I want to drill through the sides of the aquariums. I want to put the filtration system right here so it's not only easy to access, but we can look at it and monitor it and see how everything's going over time right here. That tank will connect to the bottom tank, and there'll just be like 2 tanks connected like that. So one filtering 2 aquariums. You guys love those types of videos, and you're always asking me to figure out a way to filter 2 tanks with one filter, and I've done it a number of times in the past, but it seems as though nobody watched my videos from 10 years ago. But that only takes care of like 6 of the 180s. That leaves me with 4, and I'll figure out something to do with them. Most likely, maybe I'll try to sell a few of them just to try to recoup some of the costs and losses that I've incurred over the past little while. But I'm not getting rid of these 120s. You see, I have 2 options. I have no choice. You're going to have to see things before I'm ready to show you. You're just going to have to see it. God, it's so awesome. Okay, so this wall right here, if you can see me, this wall right here is only like 8 feet long, which means I have 2 options. I could stack a couple of the 180s, which are 6 feet long, one on top of the other, a couple feet on each side, or I could put 120s side by side. I was like, why would I want 2 180s when I can have 4 120s? And I was like, well, we'll have the 180s, we'll have the 120s, which I built the rack. It's already done. I'm just water testing the top one. I moved the saltwater tank over here temporarily, and all of its biological media. See if I can make it look a little bit better for you. All the fish and all the biological media is in here temporarily. And because, well, here's the problem. I built this rack so that it just holds the 120s. I don't want it coming out like this one. You see, this one's about 30 inches front to back, and it takes up more space. The new rack's going to be pushed back 6 inches. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's so crowded in there. I'm technically gaining more space than previously because the 375, which we're going to get to, and is the most exciting thing for me because I've been dying to do this, but I knew you guys would hate it and maybe not like it at all, but I've been wanting to do it for literally the entire time this gallery has existed, and I finally did it. I just had to do it without telling you guys because I don't want the backlash. You can give it to me now because it's irreversible. I can't take it back. Anyway, these guys are pushed right up against the side, which poses an issue for me. This is about as far, look, it's right to the window. The stand is right to the window. It's not like I could build the filtration system beside. I even had to cut down a 2x6 in order to fit the bracing in here. But I could build something in between maybe. I'm thinking maybe a slim protein skimmer can go in here. But for filtration, I have to do internal or external, and since I can't really run a sump on these guys, I just built an overhead filter for this. I filmed it, there's a video on it, and that'll come out here in the near future most likely. It's just a bit of a prototype, but it's working really well. I think one of the things I might do, because I'm using a plastic planter right now, I think I might just build acrylic boxes just to make it look a little more sleek. And we'll go over those and everything needed and required, but I mean, it's running the saltwater tank and it has been. But I'm going to build 4 of them. Every aquarium will get a do-it-yourself filter to some extent, or showcase a different type of filtration. So these guys will all be on external sump systems, which is interesting. It's not actually going to have the sump. It's going to be a little difficult to explain, but maybe this gives you an idea. Okay, so the 180s on that wall, 2000 is a concrete tank I built into the ground. It ain't going anywhere, and that's 700. I'm not picking that up. It's over 1,000 pounds, and I like its placement. I like to see my stingrays the first thing as I walk in here. That's my favorite fish. But I gotta say, having big tanks is pretty awesome. You know, 2,000, stock it with hundreds of fish, or 120s are a really big tank. A 180, we can build some really cool biotypes, but there's something that's got to be said about the smaller tanks and some of the fish that are just do better in smaller tanks, or something you guys can relate to more. And oh, before we get to that, and excuse the mess out here, it's literally a war zone, but I'm bringing the podcast back. And the reason it's out here is because this is where I'm mostly inspired. I don't care if it's right in the center. Who doesn't want to sit at a table surrounded by hundreds or if not thousands of gallons of water as they actually talk about what's in the water? If you're not subscribed to the podcast, it's called Aquariums Unfiltered. I've already made like 10 or 12 episodes. Link is in the description. Make sure you subscribe because we're going to go hard on that in the days to come. Well, weeks. I'm literally waiting on a cord. Yeah, that's nice. Anyways, you guys remember this. The original podcast was in my bedroom, was in my basement. It looked cool, but I didn't like the vibes in there at all. So this was at the public aquarium. I mounted it to the wall. It looks really weird. My camera's trying to adjust because I don't have any lights on this tank, so it's like overcompensating. So I put it up there. It was a little damaged anyways from, well, just being there and people not having any respect for anybody's personal belongings, but this got a little bit ruined. So I mounted it here, which I think is actually pretty awesome, right above the stingrays and Asian Arowana, which don't have a light on it right now, so it might be a little difficult to see. Anyways, I put it there, and then the pieces that were like breaking, I put the arowana there. Sorry, you can get my hand out of there. Arowana there, and the flower horn there. I don't know if I love it, but you know, I'm telling you, this rendition of the aquarium gallery right now, like when I first walk in here, and I'm going to give you guys a view here in a second once I continue to reveal everything, is just like something that I get so excited when I'm out here. Like it's really, really exciting. And for a number of reasons. First and foremost, I finally was able to fix the air quality out here. I mounted a bunch of fans for air circulation in here, and I finally got, see that little hole there? I thought that looked better than having the white thing on there. But that's the air exchanger. It's finally working properly. Out here, the air quality and the comfort level is like literally perfect. I love it. Those two things, when it comes to a fish room, make a massive, massive, massive difference. And we'll cover that in a future video and go over details because I already know the questions you guys are going to be asking, and I'll get to those in a future video. However, so that was the backdrop to the podcast. And now that's kind of pieced out. You guys are missing the lights. I reused everything. I got so inspired one day, and I just did. What you guys are about to see is ridiculous. But before we get to that, I'm sorry for going so fast, and I'm trying not to be too excited and stuff, but I don't care. Oh, and these will drop down as I need them. You know, It looks like it's crowded out here, but I can see every tank and I can walk under here because I'm equivalent to Frodo. I need a backdrop though. I think when you're on a podcast, you gotta have something for people to look at and look around. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool to have a wall of tanks? Like seriously, would. So I built a wall of tanks. Okay, I'll show you this a little closer. These are, oh, and I'm just testing the look of the plants up there. You guys remember the plant wall? I might just do the entire top. I'm sleeping on it, literally taking my time. Obviously, it's been 3 weeks of, I'll build this. I built this, and then I slept on it for a few days. Do I like it? Do I want it? What's the next step? And then over to here, and it looks like you wouldn't be able to see anything. But I mean, like when we're standing in front of this tank, and I know like this looks like it's blocking it. You guys wouldn't know where this is if I never showed this location. And what? God, that tank's beautiful. Look at Kevin. I can't wait. Kevin's getting this tank, and everybody else get moved up there. Once I build that filter, I'm literally just waiting on some more supplies here. I'm waiting for cords for the mics. That plant's not supposed to go there. I just put it there, but this place will be covered in plants. It's going to be so cool out here. So these 4 tanks will be run on those sponge filters. Okay? I know it's ugly, I know it's an eyesore, but I know lots of you guys also run sponge filters, and I'm going to normalize a lot of these things that people do. Anyways, these 4 tanks will be display tanks. They will be scaped. They will have fish in them. Down below will remain my quarantine tanks. If you guys don't remember, we have a ton of apistos in here, and there's all different types. I don't even know what they are right now. I know what I got. I know what I bought. But like at this size, it can be really difficult. I don't even know if you can see in there. And then of course, everybody that needs to go in the 2000 still. But these 2 tanks will remain quarantined. I don't care if we can see them or not, but they're all ready for scaping and fish at this point. You know, I gotta clearly cycle it and whatnot, but the only way I wanted to show you the final thing is, well, I guess you guys are wondering, where the heck did the 375 gallon go, Joey? I thought that was, you know, a nostalgic aquarium for you because you literally built it right here in this location when it used to be like an old dilapidated garage. I built that tank right here. So I do like taking it around, but I had the option of having the 375 on that wall, 4 120s or 2 180s, and I went with 4 120s, and I think you guys would have did the same. I also think you would have put the 180s here. I think we're on track here, and I also think you would have had those 40s lined up. Now, mind you, I'm only using things that I already have or have already paid for. Yeah, okay, so watch this. Where did the 375 go? Start here. You walk in, and you see the tanks, the tank with the rays and whatnot. I don't have a light on here, so I can't really show anything, but then we have my ultimate blood red Asian Arowana. Hey, twins, bro. If you guys want one of these, links in the description. My merch is so, like, it's next level. I love it. So when you walk in, you see the Asian Arowana. Oh, and this guy here, my Beischer, he's going to go in with the Fahaka Puffer, the Oscars as well in a 180. I think that's will suit him perfectly because I want the rays on their own because I want them to start breeding. They're showing signs, they're doing everything they're supposed to, but they can't because somebody won't let them. So I mentioned when we were doing the public aquarium, he was going to get a 375 to himself, which ideally is the perfect dimensions. If you ask me what I would need for an Asian Arowana, I'd say an 8x3x2. And there's not very many people that wouldn't say that. Some people would say a 180, but I think that's a little too small. He'll do fantastic in it, but I need somewhere to put him. I think, oh gosh. So when it comes to the 2000, we're going to quickly take a look at it. One of the things that I always thought about it and I always dreamed about and I always thought would look absolutely amazing was because this is 8-inch thick, 5,000 PSI, reinforced with rebar concrete, I could put whatever I wanted on it. It's literally bulletproof. So I thought, let me show you.
So obviously step 1 was to drain the 375, clean it up, get it ready. The logo thing's just sitting on top of it because I was kind of measuring it for something else. All the inhabitants have been moved over here. Now I just turned the lights on so the anemones haven't really opened up, but actually everybody's doing fantastic in here and they look incredible. Absolutely loving it. Again, just turn the lights on so I can start filming this for you guys. They scattering. Big cleanup of this, disassembled its stand, removed all filtration, etc. And then of course began building the support structure here in the back. And here's how I did it. A basic 2x6 frame. Okay? This is no different than any other stand I've shown you how to build. That's why I'm kind of not doing a tutorial on it because we've done 40 of them. And it's literally just sitting on the tank. This is 8-inch thick, 5,000 PSI, rebar reinforced concrete. It's not going anywhere. I leveled it out and drilled, I think it's about 30 screws into the joists of the wall. And now I'm going to cut some wood here and brace it properly back there like that. I then, of course, I still have to kind of line things up and fix everything because I did have to cut some of the background for plumbing and whatnot, but this tank's going to be plumbed to this tank eventually, so I'm in no rush there. This is just a thin mat. I had a bunch of it left over, so I'm just wrapping it around here because I think it truly does bring this together. It looks like it's supposed to be there. Wait till it's filled. And then, if you guys remember my logo that Aqua Decor Backgrounds made me, I put it up here. This is just the top of it and flipped it upside down so the lights are actually pointing downwards. And we're gonna see what that looks like lighting the tank that way. I think that'd be a really cool method of doing it. Of course, I had to remove the corner there, but nothing goes to waste here. I eventually use everything. So I cut it to go on the corner of the tank. I'm just gonna try to balance it there to give you an idea. Just the corner of the tank to kind of make it look like, oh great, you get the idea, but it's gonna be sitting on the tank. And it's going to wrap the whole thing together. It's gonna look like all of this was meant to be. All right, I'll finish up this stand, or at least the support rack. Oh, and this here, this fan has been mounted to the ceiling here, or I'm sorry, to the wall. This tank's not gonna be there eventually. But because this tank's so close to the heating and air conditioning, I want this fan here to kind of blow the heat away, and which is good. I've always had this in here for like 4 years, offering me additional circulation within the building. The building is sort of like an aquarium. It does have its own air filtration system, circulation, as well as heating and cooling. If you guys remember, I installed the air conditioner or the air exchange unit in there, which I recently got fixed and turbocharged it. Man, is it ever working good. Anyways, back to finishing this. What you guys are about to watch is incredibly dangerous, and I highly recommend you do not attempt to do anything like this on your own. You probably have far more functioning brain cells than I do.
This could work.
That's too much. It's too heavy. Oh, if you haven't yet, click the like button. Oh, shoot. What's touching? Something's gonna get broke. And ain't gonna be me. Come on. Oh, so lightheaded. Oh, whoever said fish keepers were nerds, I don't think so. Insane. It's incredible. I love it. I love it. It doesn't matter if you love it. I love it. I think it's just insane. I thought that once this tank was here, I always looked up there and I was like, it's so blank. It needs a big tank. And I was going to build this big filter up there and showcase it, but I have other plans. I'm just going to do what I really want to do. And hopefully you guys think a lot of things that I'm doing is pretty cool as well. I don't expect you to emulate this, but an important thing we got to kind of point out, and I know it's like some of the boring stuff, is that is my heat pump. It produces air conditioning as well as heating, and it's very close to this tank, so I just installed this shop fan. It's been in here for 4 years, used to be up over there, just for air circulation, but now I've installed it here just in case like too much hot air is like kind of accumulating here. Let's push it away a little bit and go from there. But man, this is gorgeous. Now, this main light is on for this aquarium here. Everybody in there doing great? Where's everybody? Oh, they're all just spread out, chilling. Okay. And then the light for this, I was a little weary or a little, apprehensive if this would be lighting enough. You guys will remember that this is from the 3D background. I think it is enough. Now the downside is this tank's pretty filthy and it is pretty scratched up. Once we fill it up with water, it's not going to look like that. I'll be able to clean it up. And I know like people are probably wondering how you're going to filter it. How are you going to, clean it, maintain it, etc. You'll see. It's super, super, super simple.
So like I said, I haven't moved him yet, but he will be going to his new home. The 375-gallon aquarium is now over top of the 2,000. And some people will love it, some people will hate it, but I am absolutely infatuated with it, in love with it. Now look at the top. Remember the lights? That's what's now lighting the Asian Arowana aquarium. Now how are we filtering it? Well, very simply. It's got two MP60 Ecotech wave makers that are pushing out thousands of gallons of circulation. Plus it has a 3,000 gallon an hour return pump that I put, you can see it, in the tree from the 2000s. So the 2000 pumps up water to the 375 and then simply overflows back into it. Essentially, the one filter is filtering all of it. Now here's the thing. This is no different than adding, moving all your fish to a bigger aquarium. I'm adding a much larger water volume, but that filter needs to be upgraded. I'm going to build something else. So I've emptied it out in here, and I'm going to build something cool. But I will address a couple of concerns and questions about this. How am I going to clean this tank? Well, the outside is very simple. I've shown you guys this stuff before. Can you see me? There you go. Big old shower scrubber. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel. I'm going to chuck it on there because it's grippy. It's like Velcro. Boom. This is not actually how I do it. I got to run in the house and grab my paper towel. This is just like something I use to wipe the table. Take some Fritz glass cleaner, glass and acrylic. I can't use Windex on this. It'll cause the acrylic to craze. So if you have an acrylic aquarium, trust me, this stuff works really well. And it gives like this fingerprint push, glossy finish. It looks really good. Anyways, spray it on there like that. And bam. Just scrub it down like that. Inside and out. I don't have to gravel vac or anything like that. It's a bare bottom tank with thousands upon thousands of like 8,000 gallons an hour or more, maybe 12,000. I'll have to do the math, but circulating the water in there. Nothing's going to settle. It's all going to be removed. Go back to this aquarium eventually. The bacteria within the tank or the filter removes it or the fish eat it, blah, blah, blah. Here's the interesting thing about this tank. It's sitting on 2x6s, right? You guys remember that? But I didn't plan on it being this close to the heat pump. It's got like an inch of space up there. But it worked out perfectly because now I could square it off at the corner there, have it to here. It's not blocking this. I put a fan on there so it's sucking away all the hot air so there's no hot spots on these tanks. And then I decided that's literally the perfect height. I'm going to make every aquarium that tall. Now the 180s need to go up like to there, but it's literally the perfect height. This, like, I planned on it being this tall, but I didn't know. I planned on, like, so, okay. If you're going to access your aquarium, you need into it. You need to be able to get into at least your armpit, right? So the tank should never be taller than your armpit, unless you need to stand on something like, watch. Bastard. Okay, so if I stand on this, even to here, I can see perfectly up. But if I keep going, this is below my armpit. I can still get my hand in all the way to the bottom as much as I need to do, and I have about 18 inches of space above it. 19 inches of space. I was wrong, so sorry. And below it, each tank has 9 inches of space, even the 120s. And that's an ideal amount of spread to be able to not only maintain the tank, get your hands in, add fish, escape it, etc. So the next thing I got to do is tear down these 4 tanks. Not a big deal, that's a day's work. Put a couple of them here. I'll have to put some of the freshwater fish up there, and that's just fresh water in there. It's not salt water, so I can just chuck them in there, just as holding tanks until I build a new rack and put all the 180s and get that set up. This here and that there will be temporary holding tanks for everything. It's a tremendous amount of work, but you guys know me. I'll get it done. So yeah, I think you guys will enjoy the racking system. You'll like the 120. You'll like the ideas, but the 375 being up there is probably going to be hit or miss with a lot of people. Personally, I think it's just awesome. And I think it's only appropriate to have the king of the aquarium, the Asian Arowana, to be sitting up on his throne. and it's the ideal situation. Nobody's gonna be able to go up and smack on the glass, stress him out. Nothing's really gonna cause him any problems. And if you guys are like, well, how will you feed him? Blah, blah, blah. I have access over here. And then of course that backside is wide open for drop food in. I can walk on this stuff. I can get into it. Like it's not as restrictive as it looks, but it's going to be perfect up there. And just to see that massive water dragon just swimming up there all by, like, it's going to be something to behold. Because I always thought that wall needed something. It was so bare. But now it's just incredible. Now the entire floor to ceiling in this entire place is just awesome. I mean, I even ripped up the floors, I painted, I got a lot done, but this side obviously is the eyesore right now, gotta fix that. But man, like this is going to be insane. I'll move him eventually. I gotta get the fish in the 2000s, so you guys will see those types of videos, but this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been up to. I love it. I hope you guys do too. Anyways, if you're excited about this new journey, you're not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do, or you're gonna miss it. And I can assure you, this is gonna be pretty cool. Well, I think so. Let me know what you guys think.